Hi AP Psych friends, welcome to part 3 of Unit 5 on hypnosis. Let's begin with a definition of what hypnosis even is. Hypnosis is defined by your book as a social interaction in which one person suggests to another that certain perceptions, thoughts, or feelings will spontaneously occur. The key word in that definition being social. And so this popular culture notion that hypnosis is some sort of voodoo or magical spell that alters a person's state of consciousness is quite exaggerated and to some extent not true at all. And so speaking of that, your book presents hypnosis as a series of fact and falsehoods. And so let's take a look at these 5 questions and answer them in turn. The first listed there, can anyone experience hypnosis? The answer to this is sure, anyone can experience hypnosis, but there are oftentimes people whose personalities lend themselves better to being hypnotized than others. And so individuals who tend to be more easily persuaded by others to kind of go with the group or go with the flow tend to be more receptive to hypnosis. Individuals who tend to be more creative or more imaginative oftentimes are more susceptible, I don't know if susceptible is the right word, more willing to be hypnotized. So anyone can, but if you're quite skeptical of hypnosis, it probably won't be effective for you. The second question listed there, can hypnosis enhance recall of forgotten events? The answer to this is an emphatic no, right? Hypnosis and this whole notion that it can be used to, reach into the inner recesses of our consciousness and retrieve traumatic repressed memories that we've, been too upset to think about is simply not true at all. Think of 40 studies from your summer reading and Loftus and Palmer's work on the reconstruction of memories. Okay, in most cases, we should be mindful that hypnotists can actually, present information to the hypnotized person that could accidentally be constructed as a false memory. So no, hypnosis cannot be used to recall forgotten events. Okay, question 3. Can hypnosis force people to act against their will? Most research will say, not sure it's the hypnosis in and of itself that is making people do unlikely acts. So again, think to social psychology. Think of 40 studies, Stanley Milgram, Philip Zimbardo, and Nicholas Spanos's work, right, that say individuals in legitimate contexts can be made to do unlikely acts, especially when the directive is coming from a person of authority. And so I guess that this would depend upon whether or not the individual feels as if the hypnotist is a person of authority. Additionally, in controlled experiments on this, members that are put in a control group and are told to simply pretend as if they are hypnotized still tend to do the unlikely acts that are being requested of them. And so again, that individual pretending to be hypnotized apparently feels like some sort of scientific study being done in a lab is a legitimate enough context to do these unlikely things. And so it's probably not the hypnosis itself, but more of social psychology at work for question number 3. Question number 4, can hypnosis be therapeutic? The answer here is yes. That there has been lots of research that has shown that hypnosis has helped patients harness their own healing power, right? Obviously, hypnosis isn't necessary to do this, right? That there are lots of examples of the power of positive thinking and positive visualization, but that some individuals seem to feel more receptive to this notion of positive visualization when it's given to them under the guise of hypnosis, if that makes any sense. All right, and your final question there, can hypnosis alleviate pain? The answer is yes. Think back to Unit 4, that hypnosis can serve as a distraction from pain, and that we can rely on this selective attention to get rid of this concept of pain. Hey, guess what? Big shocker. People are parked in the band parking lot. Goodness. We should just tow them. They won't park there anymore. Okay. Well, I don't want to redo this video because we're going to keep talking over Mr. Hildebrand. Okay. Explaining hypnosis. Hypnosis is probably more social phenomenon, but divided consciousness probably isn't totally wrong. And so instead of looking this in terms of binaries, that it's just one or the other, probably the more realistic thing is that it's a combination of both. And so what do we mean by social phenomenon? Okay, social phenomenon just means that, this is normal, that it's reflecting social influence, and that when people are hypnotized, they're just behaving the way that's expected of them, as we would behave in any other social context, right? Like there's specific ways that you behave at school versus ways that you behave with your friends, and that hypnosis just represents one more social context with its own list of do's and don'ts. Divided consciousness is just referring to the fact that many people believe that hypnosis allows us to get in touch with parts of our brain that really like things that happen on an automatic level or an unconscious level, that we can access those. And there have been some research that have shown that like a lot of autonomic or automatic processes, it can be controlled with hypnosis, like decreasing, one's blood pressure or slowing down one's heart rate by focusing in on it. And so there's probably something to be said about this divided consciousness. I mean, we already talked about that in the introduction to this course, that human brain is amazing, that we're working with dual processing, right? This two-track mind, that things are happening both on an automatic level and a conscious or, manual level of the brain. And so it's not that far-fetched to think that hypnosis allows us to kind of tap into that automatic element of our consciousness. And so again, probably the most realistic explanation of hypnosis, it's a combination of both of these ideas, and that we shouldn't operate in a world of binaries where it just has to be one or the other. Okay, so that is your explanation of hypnosis. Come ready to discuss it in class. Thanks.